everyone, Gojira 851 home from going to see Shin Gojira. Oh boy. Found out that a local theater was playing it, Regal Cinema, and they just had a revamp, you know, all comfy chairs and all that stuff. I went with my brother Scott, and I called out a friend, a hobby guy, and he went and saw it with me and Scott. And long story short, I liked it. Alright, I liked it. Didn't love it, I liked it. The film has a couple of glaring hiccups. Just look at that tail. But, you know, no film is perfect, as others will say, and we're going to talk about that. So, this is the non-spoiler section. I will not spoil the film until I get to the spoiler section. Now, I'm going to make a big noise when we get to the spoiler section. So as of right now, non-spoilers. If it happened in a trailer, though, that's the trailer's fault, not my fault. So, a couple of questions to get right off. Well, first off, does he have a new roar? Well, I guess that's a spoiler, so I'll leave that alone. He does have multiple forms, as the Bandai figures have kind of spoiled that for us, but, you know, whatever. He does have purple atomic breath, as the trailer showed. The music to this film is really good. Not only from what you've heard in the trailers, but what from you haven't heard as well. We'll get into that. The special effects of Godzilla in this film. Yesterday I picked up the Attack on Titan live-action film because Toho produced the live-action Attack on Titan. And apparently people that were behind making Attack on Titan had a huge hand, if not the entire hand, in making Shin Gojira. And the effects, I feel, were done outstandingly. This is a good-looking film. Okay? Now, is it Godzilla 2014 good-looking? Well, yes and no. 2014 was mostly done with computers. CGI. And, you know, they used a lot of darkness, and they used a lot of, you know, cloudy situations, a lot of minimalistic camera work to not really hide Godzilla, but, you know, show him in a light where he's not really dependent on holding the scene together. He's kind of there to tie the scene together. Where in this film, they went back to the traditional way. Suitmation. And it's awesome. Now, you might be saying, oh, Suitmation, I don't like that. I like my CGI. He's enhanced with CGI. Okay, there are a lot of scenes where Godzilla is there, but you can tell that they enhance him with CGI. They clean up a couple of the rough edges. As, you know, I like that. That's keep it practical, that something is standing there, and then keep it new, so that when something's standing there, you can make it blend together a lot better. As you'll see in the earlier films, you know, trying to blend Suitmation with miniatures, trying to have people on them, yeah, it doesn't work out all the time. There are a couple of times they get away with it and it looks great, but there are a lot of times in the earlier films that they can't get away with that. That's one thing I will give Godzilla 2014, is that they were able to be the first ones to really blend those together. Okay, Zilla, I guess, did that as well, but, you know, I don't like talking about that film, okay? I have my problems with it, and I don't like to bring it up because I don't like to... Those of you who do like it, I don't like bringing it up and upsetting you, okay? I have respect for those who like the film. That's that. Alright, so... The fight sequences are really cool. Those gorgeous pulled back shots you get to see of Godzilla in all of his glory. Something I felt the 2014 film was missing. Because in that film, they would show Godzilla immediately cut off and go to something else. Or they would show him from so far away that you can't really enjoy what he is. In this film, they pull back the camera. You look straight on and there he is. It's awesome. What else can I go into without going to the spoiler section? Okay, I guess the rest of this is going to be the spoiler section now. Gone over the... Oh, okay. Acting in this film. The human actors all do well. Except... It's funny. I read a post online earlier. A friend of mine, named Michael. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Oh, let me look up his last name real quick. I don't want to pronounce it incorrectly because I hate mispronouncing people's last names. Michael Cherkowski. He's one of the brains of Vampire Robots, and he said something to the line of that if you always wanted to see a Godzilla film that was, you know, pretty much the action of Godzilla, but the rest of the movie explained to you like it's on the Weather Channel, then this is the perfect film for you. He's not wrong. Oh, they're just sitting there and explaining and explaining and explaining so much in this movie. It's... Okay, so here is the spoiler section. Spoilers, woo, spoilers, yeah. This is your warning. You have a couple of seconds to turn back now. I will go into spoilers. I'm going through the whole movie. Okay? It's not a complicated movie, but I will go through this whole movie. You will hear it. And those of you who have not seen it, you just wanted to hear my opening thoughts of it. Those are done. We're about to get into spoilers. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2.5, 2 3/4, 1, 125, 1.5, 1 3/4, 0. Spoiler time. Alright. So, the film opens up to the glorious Toho symbol. Then it's the Toho symbol again, except it's smaller and a little more grainier. Okay. And we're going over a couple of, you know, different establishing shots. When we look out in the ocean and something's bubbling, and this underpass that goes underwater, you know, it breaks and there's a flood. Huge rivers of blood rushes in. So then we meet our Japanese officials of this film. We got the security people, we got the work detail people, we got this and that, all of these very important people. One of them, who is, in my opinion, the main character of the film, says that there are reports that it was a massive animal and it has been sighted several times. Everyone says he's a crackpot. So then the Prime Minister comes in and they decide to go over everything again. Talk about the damages, they're talking about this, they're talking about that, they're talking and talking. The scene's going on for 10 minutes, just talking and talking and talking. Oh my good. Finally, the ocean starts to churn and out comes a large eel-like thing. Alright? To the initiated, we know that it's Godzilla's tail. However, it's a very pale-looking tail, so it looks like an eel. So they're talking about it some more. Yeah, they talk about it. Oh, we don't know that it's a giant monster. And we don't want to make everyone panic. And, oh, the animal rights people, they're already calling to action. We have to keep it alive. And it deserves a right to live. And this and that. It's going on. Finally, Kaiju A, Godzilla, the eel form, is starting to break out of the ocean. He's starting to destroy all this stuff. Something hilarious, as Kaiju A, or Godzilla A, is destroying, you know, all these boats and stuff. There's this one lone guy running down the street like he's in a marathon, you know, trying to get away from all the destruction. Funny scene. This movie has a sense of humor at times as well. I forgot to mention that earlier. And Godzilla A is, you know, he doesn't have any arms. You know, he looks very silly. And he's just steamrolling through town. And, you know, the officials are like, well, I guess you were right about the giant monster thing. Don't gloat. And, you know, they're trying to think of different ways. Like, oh, let's call it the military. Oh, we have to go through sanctions. We have to go through this and that to get the military. Oh, but we just can't kill it because apparently they want to research it or something. Apparently they know that the U.S. knows about this monster. And they're like, we can't just flat out kill it because it's, you know, researchable or blah, blah, blah. But finally, Godzilla A falls over and looks like it's dead. Okay. Suddenly, it starts to move again. As they start playing the Godzilla music from Gojira in 1954 as he first comes out of the ocean and is attacking Tokyo. Stands upright and then roars just like the same Godzilla from that film. Here, listen. And then he mutates into Godzilla B, or Kaiju B, which is pretty much an evolved version. If you're a Pokemon fan, you're going to love this movie because Godzilla evolves. He grows kind of little T-Rex arms, and he's standing more upright, looking like our traditional Godzilla. Stomping around as they finally are able to get some helicopters out to attack. Godzilla B is just standing there. He doesn't do anything, and they're about to attack, but there's some civilians in the area, so they don't attack. When Godzilla B starts stomping through the city, they're still playing the same music. Awesome stuff. Alright. Apparently, in between these scenes, Godzilla B went out to the ocean and has escaped out to sea. So they're going over the damage, looking at all the damage, and they start talking again. They start talking again, you know. Oh, the damage is this way. Oh, if we have the people, if we have the missiles and set up this way, we can defeat the monster before it gets any worse. Oh, apparently this other scientist, he predicted all of this years ago, named Makigoro. Yeah, Makigoro. At first I thought they were going to try to tie this to the 84 film, but no relation. This is a scientist, Makigoro. You know, they're going over, you know, how this thing is, you know, mutating and how it's evolving and all this other stuff, like, what's causing it, and they're saying, and one of the scientists, she's really cool, she's like, it's nuclear fission. Oh, you're stupid, that's not nuclear fission, you have no proof it's nuclear fission. They find proof, like, oh, I guess it is. I'm sorry. Apparently the theater thought that was hilarious. Everyone started laughing. It's like, giant monster just destroyed half a city, and it's not even finished evolving yet. So finally they say Godzilla has been spotted. And here he is. Fully evolved. And they say, oh, this is Godzilla's fourth form. Alright, back up. The scientist, Makigoro, says that the monster's name is Godzilla, and apparently a Japanese citizen who lives in America, who's family members with someone who works with the president, is now, she has all this information saying the monster's name is Godzilla, and they translate it, and it's Gojira, and they're saying it's an old legend from Oda Island, and it's a creature. It's pretty much like the face of God. Pretty much, it's here to challenge man and make humankind, see. It's like a trial for humankind. Like a typhoon or a hurricane or a storm or whatever. So Godzilla returns, and he's in his final form. Like, it's his fourth form. No, it's his third form. Okay, there's Kaiju A, there's Kaiju B, and there's Godzilla. Yeah, there wasn't a third form. There wasn't a fourth form to make it a third form and make it a fourth form. This is his third form. So anyway, they start playing the music from King Kong vs. Godzilla when he first emerges from the iceberg, and he's stomping around and he's just looking awesome, stomping. All those gorgeous pulled back shots. He's got the tail going over the top of the buildings. Everyone's looking up like, oh crap, this thing's huge. This tail has a mind of its own. It's longer than Godzilla is, and he's still stomping around, and they're still playing the classic Akira Ifukube music. You're right there. Then they start talking again. They start talking again. Oh my goodness. So they start coming up with ideas of how they can possibly defeat Godzilla. They're like, oh, he's glowing red, and there's steam coming off of him. That means he's building so much heat. Look at the radiation. What if we find a way to cool him? Yeah, they're trying to find a way to cool him. Just like in Godzilla vs. Destroy. If you liked Godzilla vs. Destroy, if you liked the Godzilla PS4, PS3 game, where the final ending is that they freeze Godzilla, that's what they're aiming for in this film. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to find a way to freeze him. But anyway, Godzilla's still stomping around. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister is being contacted saying, oh, the U.S. says it's going to help, but there are a bunch of back deals that they have to do. I forget the exact... Ouch. Okay. So the film keeps going. It gets around nighttime as Godzilla is stomping around. Once again, those gorgeous pulled back shots, those composite shots of Godzilla compared to the city, just looking awesome. When you look at him in the city, you really think he's really there. Okay? I know you're like, oh, it's just a guy in a suit in the city. No, it looks very real. Keyword looks. It isn't, it looks very real. Next thing we know, the U.S. has sent 3 stealth bombers. And they're coming to Tokyo to help deal with Godzilla. And they dropped several bombs on Godzilla after the Japanese military tries to take on Godzilla themselves. And all their bombs are just bouncing off them. Nothing's working. Godzilla's knocking bridges into the air and they're landing on the tanks. Awesome. So, stealth bombers do the weirdest thing. Their bombs actually penetrate Godzilla's skin and he's bleeding. Yeah, you never thought you'd hear that, but yeah, he's bleeding. So what happens? Godzilla begins to glow purple. He starts breathing out atomic vapor that starts covering the entire city, pretty much infecting everything with radiation, contaminating everything. Then the vapor turns to fire. He looks like Gamera when he's breathing this. Then it focuses into a beam, and he sounds like the 92 Godzilla atomic breath beam. And he starts breathing it around, but then he closes his mouth, because the stealth bombers turn around, and Godzilla somehow hears them. You don't really see ears on him, but he hears them. By him holding in the atomic breath, that's how he fires off these massive purple beams from his dorsal plates. And he's shooting down stealth bombers. Yes, Godzilla is that good. He's shooting down stealth bombers with his back beams. He doesn't have to look at them. After he shoots them down, we see just how destructive he is. He opens his mouth, and this beam just comes out and starts destroying every single building in Tokyo. It's just incredible. The current prime minister is killed because they want to evacuate him, and half the staff is killed. So we had a new cast of characters towards the end of the film. It's just incredible. So Godzilla stops breathing fire, takes a few steps, and then he becomes hard as a rock. Apparently he expended so much energy when he breathed his atomic breath just once. He expended so much energy that he had to enter cooldown mode. So they start crunching some numbers, like, oh, well, he's in cooldown mode. How long is it going to take? 15 days. Yes, 15 days. So, for the next 20 minutes, they're talking. Again. The new Prime Minister is talking to the President of the United States, and apparently the help that they wrote for the U.S. to do is they're going to drop a thermonuclear bomb on Godzilla in the heart of Tokyo. And the Japanese, of course, aren't really pleased and saying, we don't want a third bomb dropped on us. Yeah, I can see their point. I think it's really annoying that would be the immediate, fail-safe, is to immediately start nuking things. You think, 15 days, our scientists would go with their scientists, and they would think of something. Well, to be fair, that's what happens. Their teams go to Japan, and they start looking at different ideas. But they give up after like 5 minutes, like, oh, the nuclear capabilities are our only option and our only way to defeat Godzilla, and they leave. So time is running out. They want to drop the nuke. So the people that are in charge of dealing with Godzilla, they contact France, and France makes an emergency appeal that Russia and China try to fight, but they get the launch delayed for a little bit. So they're able to finish their freezing capabilities. So Godzilla finally starts to wake up as the Japanese military and our scientists, they work together, they rig up a couple of trains, and they crash them into Godzilla, knocking him down. Well, what? So anyway, they knock him down, and they load up the freezing agent through these hoses. They look like giant, dental drills, and they actually stick them into Godzilla's mouth as he's lying down, and they actually start pumping him full of this freezing agent. Well, they only get 20% for the first time, and Godzilla, he breathes fire and pretty much kills all of them. Then his tail, turns purple, and that immediately starts firing as he's breathing fire. By the way, one thing I forgot to say. Earlier, the 54 roar was for Kaiju B. For Godzilla, it's the Showa roar. So, yeah, that's one kick in the pants. He doesn't get a new roar. I mean, I would have settled for them taking the roar and then putting a reverberation to it, or auto-tuning it or something, or just doing a little something different with it. But, okay. As we get to hear classic explosion, classic missile launching sound effects, they are able to knock down Godzilla again with more trains, as well as blow up buildings around Godzilla to bury him in rubble. And they finish pumping him full of the freezing stuff. Godzilla's angry, stands up, and then he does the 84/89/91 roar, and then he freezes, head to toe. Cheerful music starts playing as they say that Godzilla has been dealt with. As the movie begins to wrap up, The Japanese girl from earlier, apparently she has enough descendancy in her where she can run for president when she becomes 40. Okay. And, the current guy that was the scientist working for the security defense, apparently they want him to become, to start running for prime minister. Okay, so, happy ending. Until we look at Godzilla's tail. We start going up, we look at the tip, and there are a couple of humanoid beings. Humanoid that have Godzilla dorsal plates, and they're like ripping out from the tail. And then the movie ends, and we get more Akira Fukube music. No extra ending at the end of the trail, the end of the thing, so don't bother waiting. That was Shin Godzilla. Shin Gojira. I'm not gonna lie, I liked the film. I didn't love it. I liked it. I feel the ending was rushed. But the whole 15 days thing was stupid. I'm sorry. You can yell at me all you want. I think the 15 days thing was stupid. Godzilla should have... Okay, you want to cool him down for a day or two. Okay. But then have Godzilla go do something else. And then, you create a new kind of weapon to try and do the whole cooling down thing. But, just 15 days. To me, that was a complete drag shoot in this film. The movie just stopped. Came to a dead stop at that. Yeah, they had a couple of moments where they're like, oh, Godzilla's starting to glow again a little bit. But then that was only day 6 or 7. Still got a couple more days to go. So it's like, okay, he can glow all he wants. He's not going anywhere, so... And oh, we still have 2 days before the countdown's done. It's like, oh god, 2 days. Ugh. So what do I give this film? Shin Gojira. I liked it. Didn't love it. If you're a Godzilla fan, you need to be extra patient with this. I know that I did the kaiju discussion with Leslie Chambers the other day ago, and he made the comment that Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, you had to be extremely patient. This movie, you need to be really patient. However, when it's all said and done, what do I give this film? In my usual Godzilla review / retrospective way, from S to F, I give this film a B. I enjoyed it. I would like to see a sequel to this. Am I rushing out to go watch this again? No. I'm not. Not gonna lie. I'm not rushing out to see this film again. But I did enjoy it, and when it comes out on Blu-ray DVD, just like Attack on Titan, I waited for that to come out. I'm going to get it, and I'm going to add it very happily to the rest of my Godzilla films, and then finish up. At least until Legendary gets off their feet, or get off their hands, and make the sequel and Godzilla vs. Kong, but that's a discussion for another time. I hope you all enjoyed my rambling. In end, I liked it. That's that. Alright guys, well, hope you all have a good night. Please like, enjoy, comment, and subscribe.